Mark and Iva were a young married couple with a 5-year-old son named Nicholas. They lived in a small town and often spent weekends at their cottage by the lake. One weekend, Iva stayed home, so Mark took Nicholas alone. But that day, Mark drank, and while he wasn't paying attention, Nicholas wandered off. By the time Mark noticed his son was missing, it was already too late. He found Nicholas floating in the lake. He tried to save him, but there was nothing he could do. When Iva found out, she blamed him and never forgave him. The grief was too much. So they moved away to a quiet house near the lake river. At first, it felt like a fresh start, but then the crying started. Every night, they heard the sound of a child crying coming from the attic. When they checked, the sound always stopped. They asked their neighbors, but no one had a child, and no one else heard anything. One night, Iva followed the crying to a small attic room. Inside, she saw the shadow of a child. When she asked, "Why are you crying?" the child whispered, "It's Daddy's fault. It's Daddy's fault." Iva snapped. She grabbed a kitchen knife and attacked her husband while he slept, screaming, "This is for Nicholas." Afterward, she hid Mark's body in the freezer and told the neighbors he'd left on a work trip. But the crying didn't stop. When she returned to the attic, the child's voice said, "Do to him what he did to me." Confused, Iva began to dig near the rose bushes in the yard, and there she found bones. She took them to the police, and they confirmed it was a missing child from years ago. A former homeowner and his wife were arrested. Locals said the man used to beat his son and lock him in the attic. In prison, he died mysteriously, suffocated, as if buried alive. Iva, overwhelmed by guilt, took her own life, using the same knife. Later, her and Mark's bodies were found. The house was sold again to another young couple. But to this day, the neighbors say at night you can still hear a child crying in the attic.